Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. Freeland here. Today, we're going to talk about your how to's and we're going to talk about the words you choose to use in your how to's. Now, because you're giving directions, your how to's can sound a little bossy, and that's okay. Now, let's say my principal was sending me an email on how to have a fire drill, and my principal said, be sure the students must line up quickly and quietly. No running. Now, boys and girls, that's really important that we line up for a fire drill quickly and quietly, that we get out of the building safely. No running. Maybe my principal also said when you're outside, count all the students to be sure they're all there. You must do this. Now, that sounds a little bit bossy when the principal said words like must, right? Well, there's a good reason. Boys and girls, we have fire drills at school to practice to make sure we get everyone out safe. But the reason we do that and count everyone is because if it were a real fire and the firemen came there, the firemen would ask the principal, is everyone out? Do all the teachers have their students? Because if all the teachers didn't have their students and there was a student inside, the firemen would go after that student and they would risk their life to save that student. So it's really important when we do fire drills at school that all the teachers know they have all their students. So we're not sending a fireman into an unsafe place if we don't have to. So there's reasons why you can say something is very important and make it sound important because it is. I found a couple of examples of that even in my dog book. And I'm going to change the words or add words that make it sound a little bit more bossy and a little bit more important. Here's the page I worked on feeding your dog. I had open the dog food. That's what I added. Feed your dog. Give it water. And then I added, don't overfeed the dog. Because boys and girls, some dogs are not healthy if they eat too much, right? So I added like a bossy voice that said, don't do that. So if there's something that your reader shouldn't do, you can add, like for a fire drill, don't run. You can add, don't do something in your how-to book, okay? Here's another example of how I added a word that got a little bit bossy. When I said to get a brush and brush your dog, I added gently because you don't want to hurt your dog when you brush it, and some brushes can be pokey. So you want to gently brush your dog. So I got a little bossy there because I'm telling people how to do that. So words like how you do something, don't do something. And also on this page, it says, let your dog out. I'm going to use a word must, like they have to have. Dogs must have a safe place outside, whether it's on a leash or in a pen or in a fenced-in yard. Dogs must have a safe place outside so they don't get hurt, right? Or run away. So when you say the word like must, have to, you can do that in a how-to book because you can get a little bossy. Because you're really teaching someone how to do something. And if you want them to not do something, you can tell them, don't do that. Like I said, don't overfeed your dog. Or don't make a mess, right? Don't spill something. Like with the toothbrush and toothpaste, don't leave the cap off. Put the cap on. Turn off the water. You can get bossy. So boys and girls, rethink your book and the words you have today. You can add specific words like must or have to, or tell someone what not to do. And those are really strong teaching words, and they're kind of bossy, but that's what you need to do today. You need to teach them and be a little bossy. That's the voice you have when you write a how-to book.